Hey guys, I'm back with another book review, and this time I'm going to be talking about Clown in the Cornfield 3. This book was actually pretty good. I finished it a couple of days ago. I have mixed feelings about it just because, I've read the first two books already, and this one was something that, I wasn't expecting. I knew it was going to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to, take so many twists and turns. But some things I didn't like about it, I would say, is that, it's very confusing at times because there's three plot lines going on at once. You got Quinn's, you got this new girl named Tabitha that we meet, and you have this girl named Vivian from the first book. And then sometimes you have a little bit of piece of Johnny's, but Johnny's is only a chapter, which is not bad. But yeah, you have multiple plot lines going on at once, and then the thing that makes it confusing is that, say I'm reading one chapter about Quinn, then you have to wait 3 or 4 chapters more to get back to her plot line, which is kind of annoying. But also it's it comes in together at the end, which it makes up for it. Also, what I didn't like is, sadly, my two favorite characters, Cole and Russ from the last book, aren't in it, and it's so upsetting because it's you make all these character development in the last book, but then you don't bring them back for the second book, and that's what's kind of annoying, is because you don't see Cole and Russ, you don't see her dad, Quinn's dad, the mayor of the town, you don't see Jerry from the last book that survived, you don't hear about them, and it's upsetting because it's I thought the last book was so good, and the characters were so good, and I was so excited to read about them again, but they weren't back. Yeah, so that was upsetting, but it was pretty good in a sense of the chapters were really interesting. Once you got to halfway middle point of the book, that's where I was okay, now it's starting to pick up, starting to get good, because the beginning's kind of slow again, just because it's you get introduced to a couple of new characters you need to learn about. They're explaining to you why Quinn's doing what she's doing, so it kind of took a second for you to for me to get engaged in the book, I would say, but it was pretty good overall. I wouldn't say I agree with the ending though. I don't know, I don't want to spoil it, but the ending, it just drove me insane. I don't know, but yeah, but overall, I think I would give this book a 4 out of 5, but I wouldn't give it a perfect 5 just because I mentioned the characters were missing, sometimes the plot was confusing, sometimes the wording was a little worded weird, but it was fine. I mean, it was pretty good though. It was also weird in a sense, they tried to they tied in religion in this book, which was very interesting to me because Quinn's character is not really religious, but this new girl named Tabitha that we meet, her and her family is really religious. And what's very interesting about it is that, so basically Tabitha, she was born there in that town. This isn't Kettle Springs. This is so quote unquote new Kettle Springs that the people that Quinn are after created, all the people who participate in the clown killing. They are the ones who created this new town. And they brought religion in it because they knew they can control people through religion. Because that's what ends up happening with Tabitha's parents, is that they end up, the pastor, the priest, he ends up being really evil, and he turns all the adults against their ways and their old ways, their good ways, and he ties religion to make them do what he wants. And it's not really, even Tabitha can see through this priest, and he's not a good guy, this is not the religion I used to know, So she just kept saying throughout the book, this is weird, this is different, the town was better before they came and stuff like that. So, yeah, so we learned a little bit about her and her family, her friends. And then we go back to Quinn's story, and then we go to Johnny's story. Johnny and Quinn end up meeting each other, end up being partners kind of for a little bit until Quinn lets him go and tries to be on her own again. And so it's a matter of back and forth of plot lines and stuff. It ends up getting really interesting because you end up finding out, because it's kind of creepy, because Quinn starts to have this conscience, or this how sometimes when you're in movies and stuff, it's there's always a ghost, or there's some spirit haunting you because of what you're feeling or what's going on in your life. Quinn had Arthur Hill from the previous book, the killer clown, the guy that started it all, would follow her but as a ghost, which was very, very weird. So there was times she was talking to herself, and then Johnny would look at her who are you talking to? It was kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. The book was pretty good. It started really getting good at the end because I could not put the book away, and it was really cute. what Johnny ends up doing for Quinn later. But what's sad, what ends up happening is that I feel like personally Quinn has been through so much throughout the first book, second book, now this one, and the fact that Adam Caesar decided, I am going to traumatize this girl even more, bring her more pain and suffering. I was just like, I was literally in my bed reading this and I was just like kicking, and I was like, no, you cannot do this to her. But you know, it's fine. But yeah, overall it's pretty good. And then the last chapter gives you a sense of like what happened, because the entire book I was like, okay, where's her dad? Where's Cole and Russ? Where are the other characters? We end up seeing them at the very last chapter, which was kind of annoying because it's like, oh, they just say 1 or 2 words and it's like, all right, the end. And it's like, cool. So I don't know if there's gonna be another book, just because like the last chapter didn't leave any like openings for another book. It did give you some like, ooh, maybe this, maybe that happening, but I don't know. I do know for sure that they are making a movie. So if you guys have not seen the first one, Clown in the Cornfield 1, you guys should read that one, because that one's turning into a movie and it's coming out in May, which I'm very excited to see. But Caesar ends up saying at the end of like his book that he is planning on making a 4th book, but he doesn't know if it's gonna have the same characters, same like, so it might not have Quinn, it might not have like, it might be a completely different thing. So I don't know if I'm gonna read that, because it's like I was in it for the other characters. But I don't know. But yeah, that's basically what the book was about. You know, it follows Quinn for a little bit, then Tabitha, then Johnny and Quinn, then the priest and like the killer church people, and then that's mostly it. But yeah, if you guys haven't read it yet, I totally suggest that you guys do. Like I said, 4 out of 5 ranking. I also ranked it on Goodreads, so yeah, you guys should read it if you can.